code everything.
Guys, we are back in free code camp. We're doing AngularJS. So what it's asking us right now is to open up our appinfo.js. So let's go ahead and follow that. So JS, directives, appinfo.js. And then in here we're going to create our directive. So just save a little bit of time. We're going to copy and pasta this into here. And then when we run it, there we go. So we've added our directive to the appinfo.js. Now we want to include a new script tag here to index.html. So we're going to create our script tag. We're going to set the source equal to, and then whatever our appinfo.js is. So it should be this. Let's go ahead and close this up a little bit. So, and then we want to close our script tag. Alright, now let's go ahead and run that. So that should add the script in our directives here. So we have, did you include JS directives app info as a script element in the view? This is the view. Oh, excuse me, we're adding it in the wrong place, I think. Let me try running that one more time. No, we're adding it in the right place. So we don't do anything with that. We don't do anything with that. Eventually do something with that. Yeah, let's reset this. Alright guys, I'm just going to add this directive here. Did you make a directive? No, we haven't. So let's go ahead and add this here. Oh no. Alright, so we're going to create our directive here. And we're going to add that to appinfo.js. So let's go ahead and open that up. Run it. Cool, so we've added that to our appinfo.js. Now we want to create a script element here on line 48. And should be this. Wham. Bam. Thank you, ma'am. So we're gonna call our directives. Cool. So we're calling our directive here. Basically just saying, hey, we're gonna use this directive. Now in our app info.html, we're essentially going to create some stuff. What are we going to create? First, we're going to create an image. We're going to name it class is equal to icon. Now we're going to then get the source using Angular, so ng source is equal to, because it's a string, we want to put it in quotes, and then in here we're going to put info.icon. So that's our image. Cool. Then we're also going to create a h2 class, and we're going to call it title, and that is going to include our info.title. It's pretty good so far. And then we're going to create a class called a paragraph class. We're going to set that equal to developer. And then we're going to go ahead and set info.developer. And then we're going to have to close our paragraph tag as well. Finally, one more. We're going to create another paragraph called class is equal to price. From here in our paragraph, might as well close it while we're at it. We're going to go ahead and close that. And in here, we're going to get info.price. So get the price of it essentially, and then filter it so that it comes out looking like currency. So assuming I didn't make any mistakes there in typing it out, image class icon ng-source equals, I don't know if that matters. Do you display apps info in JS Directive? That shouldn't matter. Oops, excuse me. So let's see what's going on here. So that first line seems to be right. The do you display an apps info and JS directives HTML? I think I did. URL. So h2 class title, info.title. Let's put some spaces here. We just want to make it look identical. There's that. And then same thing for info. We have developer, p class equals developer, and then do it like so. And then we'll also put a little bit of space here, space here, space here, space here. And I think that's right. So p class equals price. Yeah, so definitely make sure you have the spaces correctly. I don't know if that's part of Angular or not, but definitely something I'll be looking up and kind of seeing if maybe it interprets it just as string if we don't have those spaces there. Something like that. So something to keep an eye out for. So in index.html, replace the contents of the first .card div. Let's pull this up. So with the new app info element. So we have div class card. So what we want to do is get rid of all of this crap that we're using here, and then we just want to simply apply app-info, and then the info is equal to move, and then we want to go ahead and close our app-info. Now, I'm guessing our app info and our controller somewhere. That's what we have it named. So many files now. Let's see. So this is our app info right here. So that's what we're calling right here essentially. We're saying, hey, app info, info move. So let's go ahead and go back to replace the contents with app info. Do the same for the second and third card. Alright, cool. So we have our first card, or card here. I guess we did it once. We want to go ahead and do the same. Copy that. Oh, so they want us to replace it like so. So we're basically just going to set it to a different version of card, if I understand correctly. I think I do. So we have this. Oops, excuse me. And then we want to go ahead and do the same here with our game board. Gonna run that. Cool. So that's our first part. That took a minute. So our app info is letting us target each one of these things. Shutter building. Game board. Alright, cool. Now it's getting that from somewhere. I'm just not quite sure yet where. I'm sure we set it somewhere. But let's go ahead and move on, and probably be more apparent to us. So in our controller. Oh, all right. So this is where it was. Our main controller. That we're targeting them, and that's how. With each one of these are objects, and with these objects we're just calling the values of it. So, and this is using the app info. That it's basically knowing where to get these values because we've already predetermined it in another file, essentially. So anyhow, in the controller's new property called forecast, so we have a new image. Display this property in view by creating another div class card. Alright, cool. So we now have a new object forecast. We want to display it. So we will then create a div, and we're going to say class div class is equal to card. So our div is the same. Let's close that div, and then within here we're then going to create app-info, and we're going to give it a class, excuse me, info equal to forecast? Yeah, forecast. And then all we want to do is close app-info. And now when we run it, it should display everything for forecast. Cool. Everything's working out nicely. So we're going to create a new property, scope.apps, set it equal to an array of objects. So let's see here. In the controller, we're in main controller, create a new property. So within each one of our array objects here, we are then going to add, so we have icon move, scope.apps. Alright, let's see here if I understand correctly. So, say scope.apps, and then we want to set it equal to this. Oops. Alright, let's see if that works. I think that's what they're asking. I'm not 100% sure. I'm still learning Angular. This is my first time doing this course, so let's see. That is not what they want us to do. So we have move. So we want to take our scope. Did you create scope.apps and set it equal to an array? So let's see, maybe that's what we did wrong here, is they still wanted it within its own array. Oh, that is what they wanted. Cool. So we have an array that takes in it has one index right now. So add 2 more objects to the array describing your favorite apps. Oh, Jesus. All right, so excuse me. So we have two. Excuse me. We actually have two things in here. So let's go ahead and add two more. Just to save a little bit of time, I'm going to copy this format here. And then we'll go ahead and copy pasta that in there. So icon, we'll leave that alone. Title, we will call it something different. Test 1. And then developer, we'll put coding tutorials. 360, and we'll go ahead and just copy this over and do it one more time. Now when we run it, we should be good. Alright, cool. So we've created scope.apps, which is going to store these all in an array. And then in the view, so let's go back to our index.html. That's our view. In the view, use ng-repeat to loop through each element. To do this, use ng-repeat to class card. Alright. So what we want to do here, in the view, so this is scope and display each element. To do this, add ng-repeat to the class card. So we're going to we'll take this first one. ng-repeat equals, and then we're supposed to put something here. Then use the custom directive app.info. ng-repeat. Is it app in apps? I think it's app in apps. I think that's what they want. So you'll see right here, it worked. It's basically for this one, it's going to go through and do the for. So if it doesn't do the one that we chose, but in this one, it looks like everything's the same. We're repeating 4 times. I guess it didn't matter that it won't do that. So we're going to repeat through the app in apps 4 times. So I think we're good there. So in install app.js, create a new directive named install app. So let's kind of try and remember how to do this again. If you're like me and you forget all this crap, the good thing is you can kind of usually pull most of it up and remember. Let's go ahead and pull up app info. Appinfo.js. So we can kind of base it off this template, where it's just app.directive, a name, and a function. Alright, so we're going to say app.directive, and then from here, we're going to pass in a name. And it wants us to name it install the app. And then create a function here that's going to do some stuff. Alright, use app directive, create a new directive called install app. Use the restrict option to create a new element. So I don't fully remember. We have restrict. Okay. And apparently the E is going to allow us to create a new element. And we want to return something. Okay, so we need to, let's try restrict E first and see what happens. So restrict E, set the scope to an empty object. Use a template here. Alright, so they really want us to use all of this. Okay, let's see what's going on now. So we're going to return restrict E, and we're going to set scope equal to an empty object, so we can take out this info here because there's nothing in there for now. Oops, excuse me. Bad habit of mine. So we're just going to set it to an empty object. Go ahead and close that as well. And then we want the template URL to go to oh my goodness. Please open up right here. JS directives install app.html. So this is where it's going to display more or less. And we have our empty scope, and we set restrict to a element, I believe, is what is going on here. App.directive, install app. Let's see if that fixes our mistake here. Nope. Alright, so we have install app, refer to the app info directive, create a function, it returns something. Did you create a new directive named install app? Yes, I did. And then I gave it a function. I returned some stuff. Ooh. Let's see if that fixes it. Having some issues. Oh, there it goes. Nice little space. Alright, so include this new JavaScript file index.html as a script element. So, we are going to pull up our index.html file. And in here, we're going to include this. And this was a directive, so we're going to put it under our directive thing here. So that's good convention. So script src equals, and then within here we'll just go ahead and we have our install app.js, so we can just go ahead and copy this and then put it in here. So this is where our file is located, so you know what to do essentially. Let's go ahead and run that, make sure we're synced up. Very nice. And then in the install app directive, we need to add a fourth option named link and type in the following function. Oh my goodness. Alright, so install app directive. Add a fourth option named link and then type in the following function. So here's our directive, and we want to add this craziness that's going on here. So let's go ahead and just add it and see, because there is a whole mess of nonsense going on here. So I think that's what we need to do there. Yeah, let's get the code on this and see what they wanted. Alright, cool. So it still needs to be within our return. Okay, that's where our mistake was, because otherwise we're not returning anything, and so it doesn't matter if this works or not, because we need to see it work, because it's going to be displayed in the view. So I think that's why it has to be in the return. That makes a little sense. Button class. Alright, cool. So in the new file.js, so we created this new file. This looks like it's going to be a new view because it's a .html file. So usually, let's see here, any HTML file is really going to be a view type. So button-active, and then we're also going to apply the Angular directive ng-click is equal to the download function. So when you do that, go ahead and download it, and we want to close the button /button, and then right here we want to call button text, and then when we run it, it should display a button if it's been linked already. Our button class btn-active ng-click is download button text. Let me go ahead and just copy this in here. It should be identical. I'm not sure where my syntax was wrong, but that's not important as long as we understand that we're creating some HTML that will be displayed eventually. So finally, in this new directive, what we want to do is in our original index, we want to add the new install app element inside car div under app info. So we have app info. So under app info, we want to install here. I'm going to say install dash app. Install dash app. Inside the creative. So we created. All right, let's just run that and see what error it gives us. Oh, that's all we need to do. Very nice. So now our install-app comes. So if you go back here to our, was there our controllers? No. Where did we store that? Shared. Anyhow, so we created this in our install thing, and now we linked it using the install app. Very nice. So I know for me personally, I'm gonna have to work on my terminology and fully understanding how to link these. But all in all, I really am enjoying Angular and how it splits it all up. Once I more fully understand how you split things up, and eventually I'll learn more of these directives such as ng-repeat, ng-click, and ng-src are pretty much the only ones that I kind of fully understand, I would say. So I hope you guys found this helpful. I'm really enjoying it, and in the future I'll be doing some free code camp projects in Angular, so try and get better. Alright, let's see what's up next. Use services to start communicating with the server. Pretty cool. Definitely going to be one of the harder things from what I've been told. So if you're not familiar with databases and servers and all that sort of stuff, get ready to understand JSON objects, and I'll try and break it down as easy as possible. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe and support me on Patreon. See you next time.